The American auto industry is on the verge of collapsing, and yet John Hennessey is down in Texas building 700 horsepower Nissan GTRs. And today we're on location, Classic Car Club Manhattan, with Mike Pritchinello. What's up, man?
Nothing much. How are you, Matt?
Director of the Classic Car Club, and today we're talking about collector car values, okay? We're talking about bailout news, and we're talking about big horsepower GTRs. I'm Matt Farah. Stick around.
This episode of Garage419 is brought to you by Valvoline's automotive series Under the Hood with Brandon and the Frog. Watch for new episodes at brandonandthefrog.com.
All right, so Mike, we're here at Classic Car Club, and obviously it's a club with cars, so how does that work?
It is a club with cars.
Yeah.
We also have members, too, to drive them.
Oh, nice. That's the second part.
The second part. But basically, the car club works is you join the Classic Car Club, drive whatever you like.
Okay.
You go on our insurance package. We have, in New York, we have about 48, 50 cars to choose from, and that fleet always grows.
Yeah, we got new stuff. We got the GTR, obviously. We've got Bentleys, and we got old stuff like this 2002 BMW.
Our definition of classic is very, very loose in the sense it's instant classics, modern classics, vintage classics, anything you've really ever wanted to drive. So
Yeah.
Zach, who's my partner, when we select cars, one of the criteria is it probably should have been a poster on our wall when we were a kid.
Okay, well I mean that qualifies a lot of cars
That's
for
a
me.
classic anyway.
But there's,
yeah?
I mean, not you know, you've got the requisite exotics. I see a 430 over there, and there's a Porsche back over there, and I know you have a Lamborghini somewhere around here.
Yeah.
But there's also, I mean, you've got a Subaru STI, and you've got a.
So it's an incredibly cool car. I mean, we try to educate people a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So when members join, I think a lot of people join, you know, want to drive a Ferrari or something you've always been really passionate about. But at the same time, the new STI is brutally fast. It has a lot of R&D packed into it.
In the winter, you might want to play with it a bit.
A lot of cars try to keep up with it and they can't. So for me, that's a really great example of a car. Obviously, the new Nissan GTR, which you have experience with, is
fun times.
Incredible car.
Yeah.
And you know, sub $100,000 car. It's probably the fastest thing I've ever driven. So it earns its place in the car club.
And then we've also got, there's like a 70 Bronco over there,
70 Bronco that we built with members. So, you know, most of our members are into the driving, but some of them wanted to learn how to make it work before they could drive. So that actually is the only car that come to the club is a real bucket.
And now it's nice.
It's beautiful. Now it's a $40,000 truck based on the work that our members did.
Let's talk about classic cars for a minute. Obviously, to keep the fleet interesting, you guys buy and sell cars
always
a lot,
buying and trading.
right?
I probably trade out about half of the inventory every year. So swap a car that we've had that everybody's driven for something they haven't, and then plus also add to the overall amount of cars.
All right, now the economy is in shambles, okay?
A shambles.
And as you can imagine, a lot of times the first thing people are doing is dumping their collector car.
Right.
Whether it's a Ferrari or whether it's a classic American muscle car or whatever it is. I mean, these guys want out so they can buy their kids Christmas gifts.
It's been, you know, I didn't think with the demise of the economy that it would benefit us.
Yeah.
I thought we'd actually be in a little bit of trouble, but it's worked really well on two fronts. The first is it's cheaper to join the Classic Car Club and drive all these cars than it is to go buy your own Mini. So economically, it makes a lot of sense. You get a lot of variety, you go on our insurance policy. So for that reason, as things became, I'll say as cash became less available, the Classic Car Club has become a really good alternative for people.
Well, because that's actually weird, because you think that to join a club that has a lot of cars, you think that's expendable income. That it's like, oh, this is kind of whatever money.
If you're in New York, you drive you drive out of necessity, maybe 5 days a month. With an entry-level membership to Classic Car Club, you're spending $10,000 and you're getting about 45, 50 days worth of driving.
Oh, so I guess,
cars.
So if you live in the city, you don't have a car for yourself, instead of using this as an extra car, this is your car.
430 will run you about $4.30 in depreciation alone to run. So on the other side of it, if you have, like many of our members already have, your collection of cars and you always want more, this is a good example for that, but why go buy a supercar when you could do that?
Yeah.
The other thing is the events are great. We do dozens of events a year, everything from international rallies with our members to parties right here in the club. And the bar is always free 24 hours a day for members, so.
24 hours of free bar. Okay, all right, well.
So the math really starts to make sense.
Yeah, I could drink my membership, I think, in a year.
So the other part of your question about cars becoming much more cheap, we're embarking on a bit of a buying spree because really good collector classic cars are going for less than they've ever gone to because people just need cash.
Yeah, and well, it's not so much the super high dollar collectors, but the driving stuff.
Exactly.
The middle of the road,
993 Porsches and cars like that that have always really held their value.
The Ferrari 360s, like easy under $100 grand. You know what I mean? A Porsche 996. you're talking 25 grand for one
Paid
of
to
those.
drive one of those.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
so we've been really specific in trying to find very cool classic cars. For instance, we have a really great 1975 Alfa GTV, and which is so cool, but we found a new one that's very different, light blue and fully done up, so it'll be different than the experience we have.
Yeah.
And, all cars in that sort of field, American muscle, ones that we haven't had yet, maybe it'll find at very, very cheap prices.
right. Well, what I've noticed a lot is that my buddy Dave over at Cars That Matter publishes a list of the trends in prices, and the super high dollar Concours-y type of stuff is actually still appreciating. The very rich are still very rich.
Yeah.
And so I've got some stats here. The 25 most collectible cars on earth, which includes stuff like Ferrari Californias, the older ones,
Right.
and Bizzarinis and stuff like the Concours-y stuff.
Sure. Stuff that sits on grass.
Right, yeah. Fall 2006, the average price was $600,000. Fall 2008, $1.2 million. Same things for British cars. They're going up. The average price was $58,000, now $65,000. The 13 most collectible Ferraris out there, okay? According to this guy, the guy who publishes Cars That Matter, we've had him on the show before. Fall 06,
So
average
like
value.
a Daytona.
Daytona Spider, a 250 LM, those cars. Fall 06, average price $840. Fall 08, $2.07 million.
Wow, 2 years.
Yeah, so those are the cars that sit on grass, like you say.
True investment cars, I guess.
Right, but the 355s and the late 90s and the 2000s stuff.
The one thing I'll add to that, though, those cars are getting cheaper, the ones that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But the parts aren't getting any cheaper. In fact, a lot of the people who manufacture those parts have been going out of business. So.
So if you want an out of production Ferrari and you
Yeah.
break something, you're kind of out of luck. Huh?
Well, even I just needed a new gasket for the headlight of our Ford GT, and the company that made all that stuff's not around anymore. So it took a bit of searching
the
to find
American
it.
stuff,
Right.
yeah.
So it might be cheaper for you to buy that car. It might be a little bit more expensive to actually run it and keep it in the garage.
Yeah.
But that said, take the money that you saved and there's your extra money for the parts.
Speaking of that, hold that thought about companies going out of business. Coming up on Garage419, we're going to talk about our bailout update. Obviously, it didn't pass, but there might be a way out still. And of course, stay tuned for the 700 horsepower Hennessey GTR.
Frog and I had a bet, I lost, and this is payback. By losing this bet, you've given me an opportunity to teach people about cars using the most tried and true method of all, primal urge. It's all about not being a severe driver. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves.
Sensitivity training.
I demand a lot from my cars. I drive them on the highway, drive them on the racetrack. I even drive them in and out of New York City in the dead of winter with the top down. But I can do all that because I take care of my cars, and if you take care of your car, it won't let you down. Sometimes, you gotta show your car a little love, just like Brandon the Frog do. Check out their latest episode of Under the Hood over at brandonandthefrog.com. While you're there, check out their last 3 car care episodes in their full-length glory. I'm gonna be there checking out their episodes, so I'll see you there. Last week, Congress approved the bailout only for the Senate to kill it dead. They blamed the United Auto Workers for not conceding wages immediately, basically. UAW said they want to gradually phase out the higher wages to the lower wages, and they didn't want that, so they killed it. So what do we do now?
I think the American automotive industry has been failing for years. And I think that they're lucky that they've come this far right when there's a bailout package already approved for the financial markets.
Yeah.
I just think they haven't put any R&D into their cars for years, and there's very few American cars I'm interested in driving. That said, they employ a lot of Americans, and I think if you don't give the money to the auto industry, it's going to reverberate throughout the entire country. We're all in trouble. So it's an unfortunate necessity in my mind.
Well, the good news is Bush has a little bit of money left over from this Wall Street financial aid package, which is really just about what they need to make it until Obama can handle it.
I think there has to be some kind of clause in there where some of that money goes towards developing alternative fuel powertrains and things like that. So you retain people, you keep their jobs, but you're also preparing for the future, which the American automotive
Seriously,
industry
I think
has.
all that money should go to how to make an interior.
How to get rid of plastic.
How to phase out plastic in the interior.
Why haven't they been able to do that?
I don't know. Why
Horrible.
can't they phase out plastic? Why can't they come up with basic things like switches?
It's very embarrassing to go to the Classic Car Club in London as an American and have all
Yeah.
those Europeans drive your American cars and tell you what crap they are.
Exactly. Hopefully, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens because it's a very fast-moving issue. So by next week, hopefully, we'll have a result there. Finally, Apparently, the Nissan GTR was untunable.
It's not fast enough, apparently.
It's not fast enough. Hennessey, known for producing 1,000 horsepower Vipers that are just begging to kill you. They have a now 600 horsepower and a 700 horsepower version of the GTR called the Godzilla 600 and the Godzilla 700. So for 25 grand over the price of this, you can have a 700 horsepower GTR.
I have to say, I think the car the way it is perfect.
See, the thing about tuning supercars is that a car like this has so much R&D into it. Years and years and years worth of R&D.
Are you negating any of that?
Do you need to mess with it? I mean, who even knows what it does to the warranty?
On my best day, and I'm a relatively good driver based on my job, on my best day, I could probably use 50% of what that car could offer.
Yeah.
So in a Hennessey version, I would probably kill myself.
It'll probably kill you. I mean,
That's what I'd really want to drive it. I'd want to try it, I have to say.
I mean, who wouldn't want to try a
Horsepower,
700 horsepower version of anything? You know
I
what I
would
mean?
do it with a helmet in the desert, and that's how I'd
The real
approach it.
question is, will Hennessey warranty something like that? Because obviously Nissan isn't going to.
Right, I mean, they've had enough problems with the gearboxes and the
Yeah.
launch control that they're already taking it out of the 2010s.
Yeah. So you know what? Hey, John Hennessey, call me. I'd like a press car. You know what I mean?
2.
Finishing up, Mike, thanks for being on the program.
Thanks
really
for having us.
Appreciate it.
All right,
and,
thanks for coming by.
I want to drive something. I'm not really sure what yet, but I'm going to take a look around and see what I like. You guys have to stay tuned, because on Thursday, we got a very special episode of Garage419 where we take that car right there, Nissan GTR, actually not that one, a different one, but one of those. And Sanchez, our lovable producer, had a big challenge for me in it, and we're going to go race. So you guys keep watching. I'm Matt Farah. That's Mike Piccinello.
All right.
There goes my paper, and we've been at Classic Car Club. Peace.
On the next Garage 419.
Gina's just become the first idiot to put nitrous on a rented Corvette.
New episodes of Garage 419 Tuesday and Thursday.
The great thing about Classic Car Club, man, I can call any number of people and get a 430 for the weekend. Screw that. 2002 all the way. See ya.